Okay, if you purchased one of my kits for this week, or from this week, we're going to start with our ocean animals. If you didn't purchase one, thank you for joining and following along. If you guys have any questions throughout the video, I'll try my best to answer. Okay, we're just going to get started. We're going to start on our little crab guy here. So if any of you that are joined with us today, we're going to start with our white icing to work on the eyes. We're going to just cut just a small tip off, have your seam facing up. Yeah, don't cut too much off. You can always cut off more if your hole is too small. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to do a nice circle for one of the eyes, and we'll let that one dry just a little bit before doing the other eye. Now, after we do this first one, we're going to take our little round black sugar pearls that I put in your kit, and we're just going to put one for the little pupil of the eye. So go ahead and outline and flood in that part. And for these cookies, there's no specific way to decorate, just get in there and have a good time. Circles for me are the hardest and my least favorite. It's like no matter how hard you try, they're never quite circular. So just go ahead and flood that in. Don't be afraid to give your bag a little bit of pressure. And then you can use your little toothpick tool that I gave you, or just give it a little wiggle or a tap. This icing is a little bit on the thicker side, and it should smoothen out pretty good. And we'll just take one of our little black sugar pearls and throw that on there. Tuck it down just a little bit. And then we'll wait a couple of minutes for that one to kind of dry before we do the next one. So we're going to put him off to the side, and we will bring in, let's do the octopus. All three of these cookies are going to have multiple steps, just because we're going to have different layers for definition, instead of flooding the entire cookie and having it look all flat. So for the octopus, we are going to bring in our, kind of like our seafoam green color. And we're going to cut just a small tip off the top. Okay, this one could be a little bit tricky since there's no specific lines to where you should pipe. But I'm going to try to pipe a line kind of just, where I think the body would be. So I'm going to start maybe like mid, kind of like follow the angle of the head. And then just go all the way around and meet on the other side. And then I'll stop there. And then we're going to work on this bottom left tentacle right here. And I'm just going to pipe a line, kind of like a circular line, or a half circle line. All the way up, bring it down. And just like that. Kind of like a little swirl leg there. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Just like that, and then we're going to flood that entire portion in. I'm just going to cut a little bit more off my tip so that it fills in a little bit faster. Don't be afraid to squeeze the bag. Just get the icing to flow out a little bit faster. This icing is a little bit on the thicker side, so you kind of want to move not too fast, at a decent pace so that it doesn't quickly crust over on the top before you can get it to settle. Okay. And with this one, I'm just gonna give it a good little shake. You can tap it, you can pick it up and shake it, but I feel like the shaking or tapping settles it a little bit faster than if you were gonna use your little scribe tool. And I'll just push the icing towards the outline if I didn't get it completely there. And with this one, you can go ahead and take 2 of the little sugar crystals that I put in your kit for the eyes. You can kind of guesstimate where they would go, wherever you would like them. And then now we are going to take our little coral color. I'm just going to add some detail on this one. So we'll go ahead and cut a tip off of the coral color. Like I said, make sure the tip or the seam is face up so you get a nice little round cut. And I'm just going to add some little spots on it for some detail. And I'm also going to pipe 2 small dots like near the eyes just to kind of give it a little rosy cheek look. And make sure your piping bag is straight up and down. When you're piping dots, it just ensures that it's a nice and circular shape. Okay. And then I'll go up here and just add some little speckles. It doesn't have to be round, just make them whatever shape you'd like. Some can be bigger, some can be smaller. And then if it's a little bit puffy, I just take my little tool and kind of push the icing into the background color, just so that eventually it'll look more flush. Okay, so that's our start of our octopus. Now we're gonna go in and do our other eye for our crab before moving on to our whale. Okay, so we'll just work on the other eye of the crab and then add our little sugar pearl for the pupil.
Going too fast.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. I just didn't cut mine, so it took a little longer.
Oh. Okay. So go ahead and outline the other eye and we'll fill that in. Good morning, Sav. Okay, and I'll flood that in. And you can push down any unevenness with your little toothpick. Okay. And then I'll take another sugar pearl and put it on that eye. So I'll let that one dry for a little bit before coming back to it. If I'm going too fast, just let me know. Quick little comment and I can slow down. I have about 45 more minutes for this tutorial before I move on to our mermaid set that I also released this last week. Just the other eye. Sorry if you kind of hear me talking off to the side. I have my sister-in-law is here decorating with me. Okay. Now we're going to work on our little whale here. We're going to take our kind of like periwinkle little color. Cut a nice little tip off the top. Make sure your seam is face up so you get a nice round outline. Okay, and now with this one, we are just going to be outlining the main portion of the body and also to give him a fin on the bottom. And then we'll go back later and fill in his belly with our white icing. Okay, so I'm gonna start here at the mouth and work my way around. And here we're gonna come down a ways and come up to where the tail is. This. Okay, now and for this part, I'm just going to come back up to where the mouth is, just to come out a little bit before I come down to do the little fin. And then we'll come back to finish the rest of the tail. And then once you have that part done, go ahead and start filling it in. And I'm going to cut a little bit more off the tip of my bag. Just give a bigger hole to be able to flood it in faster. And we'll go ahead and try our best to give this one a shake. I'm gonna pick it up and try to shake it that way. Don't be afraid to really shake it. Okay, it settles out pretty good. There's a couple of spots where I'll go in with my little scribe tool and fix. Just kind of just push the icing towards the outline if you didn't quite fill it in. And then you can take one of your little sugar pearls, add that in for the eye. And then I'm gonna go in with my white and just add some polka dot detail on the top. And then I'll just push the center of that to try to make it as flush with the blue color as I can. Okay, and we'll set this one off to the side to dry for a little bit. And we're gonna bring back our crab to work on the outline of the body. So we'll take our coral color here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, see if you can tell, pipe some angled lines almost to where the top part of this leg is on both sides. And then we'll come around to outline for the body. Okay. And I'll go ahead and fill that part in. Okay, then we're going to give this guy a good shake, smoothing him out. Okay, and there we go. And we're going to let him crest over just a tiny bit before we work on each section of the claws and the legs. So put this one off to the side and we will bring back our octopus here. And now we're going to work on the two inner tentacles. And I'm going to try to eyeball this, but kind of go with the natural flow of kind of like a swirl. So we're going to come up and around and then back in to finish the right tentacle here. So I'll start at the bottom and I'll come up and around. And that one I'll actually bring up all the way to the body. And then I'll add a little line here just for a little barrier. And then we'll go ahead and flood that one in. And I'm just going to use my little scribe tool just to smoothen this part out that's touching the body. And it's settling on its own pretty good in this smaller spot. It's usually the bigger spots that need quite a bit of work for it to settle. Okay, so now that you have this side, we're going to try to do our best and do that the middle tentacle on the left side. Once we get all the tentacles done and they're dry a little bit, we'll go in and add some of the coral color to create little suckers on the bottom of each one. It'll be cute. So now I'm going to work on the left side here. Just trying to recreate the same shape like you did on the right side. And I'll go all the way up to the body again. And then I will flood that side in. I'm just going to turn it around. Take my little tool just to fix up some of the edges, smoothing it out just a tad. I didn't quite give myself too much space in between there, but that's all right. Still cute. So we'll go ahead and let those two tentacles dry just a tad. We'll move him off to the side and bring back our crab. Okay. Now I'm just gonna pipe two little roundish squarish sections on the top of each side of the body, just to give it kind of like the claw a segmented look, so it'll have a little spot, and we'll let that dry a little bit before doing our claw. So we'll do both sides. Oh look, I just shoved my finger in my octopus. Just a nice little segmented part there. And same on the other side. And then now for the feet, we can work on every other one so that they'll have time to dry before doing the middle one, so that each one looks separate from the other. Okay, and we'll do the same thing to the other side. And there's our crab legs. I'll set him off to the side and we will bring in our whale to do the belly. And we'll take our white and fill that part in. And I'll do this section first before doing the tiny section in the back. Okay. And I'll do this small section here. Gotta do this one. All right. Now that you have the belly filled in, I'm just gonna try my best to go in. I'm just gonna give it a couple little lines across the bottom. My hole's already cut kind of big, so I'm just gonna try my best not to pipe too much icing. I think I'm just gonna do 2 lines across. Do one there, kind of see where it would go on the other side. And then I'll do one more here, just on this side. Just some added detail. Maybe I'll do one more little one on the top. Okay. And our whale is all finished. So now we'll go in. Let's do our let's bring our octopus back in. You can see there I kind of dug my pinky right into it. All right, so now we're going to work on our last 2 tentacles. Kind of the same thing, we're just going to come up and around and give it a little swirl at the top. And then we'll flood that part in. Okay, and we'll do the same thing to the other side. Okay. And this time I'm just gonna finish off the face and just give him a little smile. However you'd like to do that part. I'm just gonna connect the 2 little rosy cheeks. Give him a nice big smile. How do I keep my hand steady? Carolyn, it's really hard. I always support my you know, piping hand with my left hand. I still shake quite a bit, but definitely helps when I support it with my other hand. Okay, so we'll let those last 2 tentacles dry, so that way when we go back to pipe all of the suckers on the bottom, we can just do them all at one time. Okay, so we'll put this guy off to the side and we'll bring back our crab and we will finish him off. So I will go ahead and start on the right claw. And you can watch me outline this before you attempt it, just so you can see the shape of how I'm doing it. So I'll start right here at the bottom of this segmented part and come up and around to the sharp edge here. That. And then I'll come in and kind of make a U shape to do the rest of the claw. Almost like a full circle, but not quite. And there. And then I'll just flood it in. And just give it a little wiggle with your tool. And then I'll go in and do the other side. Sorry, I'm kind of blocking it away. Okay, and once you have the 2 claws done, we'll work on our last 2 legs. Okay, and we'll do the last one. Turn him around. And now that his body is dry, I'm just going to add some, actually I'm going to take, let's do green. Just going to take the green, kind of just give him a little speckled look also, just like the other ones. And these ones will actually sit up on top to give it some added dimension. And I'll do a couple on the bottom here. Hi, Cammy. Yes, baby.
I need another paper for Kiana to draw.
Isn't that in the corner? Oh, grab that one.
Okay. And I think I'm happy with those there. And then for the crab, I'm just going to give him a nice little open mouth. And then he will be done. Okay. There's our little crab. So that one's all done, along with our whale. So now I'm just gonna bring this guy to finish off the tentacles, and he will be done too. So I'm going to take our coral color and just pipe some nice little dots around the bottom of each one. I'm going to start with the inner ones and work my way out. And then you can get smaller as you get closer to the tip of the tentacle. I might just tap them down just a little bit so they're not pointy. Sometimes the icing can lift up as you're doing these dots. So then we'll just go in and do the same to the rest. Okay. And now we have our finished octopus. Okay. So all 3 of our cookies are finished. Let me try to get them all in frame here. And our whale. And I want to thank you all for joining me this morning, early afternoon almost. And I can't wait to see your cookies. Tag me in any of your videos, your pictures, and I would love to share them on